What's going on, guys? This is Logan with West Desert Wheeler, and today is our first run with the brand new Vanquish H10 Optic RTR Buggy. I'm super excited to get this thing out on the trails. I've already been filming some B-roll, so the truck is already dirty and scratched, tires are covered in sand, and I can already say I'm having a lot of fun with it. So now it's time to bring you guys along. We're gonna go hit one of my favorite trails, Risk, to show off its RTR capability. Later on, when we, make some changes to the truck, we can come back to this trail and see how it compares. But for now, let's check out the brand new truck from Vanquish. So I did film and put out a full review of this truck where we go through every detail of the cage and all its hidden features. There are some cool features in this truck, so be sure to check that out. I will recover some of the details here, but I don't want to make the same video twice. So we're starting out on this awesome little V-notch obstacle. Let's hit the basics of this truck real quick. There are no chassis rails in this. This is a full plastic tube buggy, so it's a full caged vehicle. It's got a VFD transmission in it. It's got Vanquish's new H10 axle set on here, which I'm very excited about, which has a simulated hydraulic ram on the front, and it has a servo-on axle setup with 4-link in the front, but on that front tie rod, it looks like a hydraulic ram, which is super cool, which is what the real buggies run. So it's great to see it here on the Vanquish. Almost had it there, just right rear slipped in on us. I got this for the B-roll, so I just got to find the line again. There it is. Let's get these rears up. The VFD transmission comes with the centered gear set, and it also has 6% overdrive right out of the box. So let's get a look at this front axle here on this drop. Ooh, almost. Got a little wild on that one. That was a big drop. So let's take a look at this front axle here. You can see that stainless tie rod link in the middle looks like a PSC 3-inch hydraulic ram. Super cool. These axles are wider than Vanquish's F10 axles, so you can get a wider overall stance with this truck. These are KMC Riot plastic beadlock wheels. We've got single stage foams in this truck with Yokohama Geolander MT tires to go along with that Yokohama livery. The electronics in this truck are the standard Vanquish RTR electronics. They've been using all the same electronics in all their releases. So Hobbywing 1060 ESC, a metal gear servo for steering duties, 4-channel transmitter. The Vanquish RTR transmitter, this guy right here, is one of my favorites out of any RTR, so big thumbs up there. It's easy to work with, set endpoints. You can even set expo on your throttle, which gives you a throttle curve, which can help with low speed control, which is pretty impressive for an RTR vehicle. Not a lot of RTR controllers offer that kind of tunability. Almost had that, just need to get that cage pinch just slightly different up in this obstacle. You essentially get the rear corner of the roof just on the inside of this wall up here, and then that right rear climbs up, and then you can pivot around. Ah, just missed it. And you can get trapped under here as well. If that front end would just stick on a little better, that might be it. But very technical, very tricky line. I don't think this truck's going to make it. We can always go up on the optional right-hand side on this wall, and I think that's what we're going to have to do. So these tires are in the Vanquish Red compound. They are the same as their tires that are available individually sold. So it's great to see that they are the same. They're not some harder, goofy compound or anything. Nice bump. Oh, where are we going, truck? Let's go up the wall. Let's go up the wall. Come on. Nice. Got it done. Little wheel speed, but we made it up the top. Anyone who's been on West Desert Wheeler before knows that we've got our trail dog, Sydney, out here with us today. She always likes joining us on the rocks. She loves getting out. Back to the truck. One standout feature on this thing that, just really kind of got my attention was the fact that this has a 13.2 wheelbase. Now, as measured on this truck, it seems a little closer to 13, maybe a 13.1, but definitely getting more reach than a typical RTR. But it's still riding on 4.75 tires, which means we got a lot more distance between the tires and the breakover. So you're gonna belly out more on obstacles, and I've been noticing that. It does belly out more. You get great steering angle with this truck, but you're gonna need it to get this thing turned around out here through technical terrain. Now, if you think this truck looks like a go-fast machine, it does have a great appearance that way, but with the RTR electronics, it's fairly slow, which is good for me because I prefer a slow technical rock crawler. But if you're trying to bash and jump around, this thing's not really gonna get too far airborne. Even just full throttle blips up and over some rock bumps. Ooh. Definitely don't want to fall off right there. It's a 5-foot drop. And this guy hasn't quite been released yet, so don't want to have to ask for new spare parts for this just yet. That 13.25 wheelbase is helping us reach, but without a little more forward weight. Hey, come on. No, no, no. I had to let off to change my grip on the controller. I drive one-handed, so it was hard to get the full steering as I was holding it. There she is, little momentum. Had to warm up those stickies, and up and over we go. You might have noticed that back tire sidewall getting rolled up, and it's because I didn't vent these tires. They are not vented from the factory, so I think we've actually squeezed some air out, and it's got a little bit of negative pressure, and so the tire's wrapping up around it when it's under torque. All right, so the standard line would be to go up to the right. We're gonna go for the buggy line. We're a little bit longer wheelbase. Got some good tires for an RTR. Maybe a little momentum here. Okay, we're gonna need more than that to get the rears up. Okay, we're lifting tire, and there's a 20-foot cliff behind us, so see how this goes. Maybe try and settle it here. That's not quite the line I want to hit. It's getting a little scary, so I think we're just gonna, well, I guess fall to the bottom. So we'll take a bypass on this line. It showed promise, just didn't quite have it there. Not quite comfortable pushing this truck that far to danger out on our first run. Nice, executed that line perfect. And on to our next one, which is a breakover. It's not gonna go well, I have a feeling. So something you can do to combat bellying out as hard is go up to a larger tire diameter. Now, 12.5, 12.3, even up to 12.8 is pretty suitable for 4.75. But in the real world, when you're building a real buggy, there is kind of a ratio between wheelbase and the tire height that you should go with. And just like the real size stuff, then the RCs kind of apply there too. So for this truck at 13.2, I really think it kind of needs like a 5-inch tall tire. Oh man, it had it. I should have stayed in it a little better. That was a solid bump. Nice save. Now, I do make cut and shut tires, which is where I take a standard 4.75 tire, cut the sidewall across the tread and down the sidewall, and then add a piece of a donor tire to it, which makes it taller, but the same width. And also creates a custom size 2.2, 5.25-inch tall tire. That was a nice climb, by the way. But since this truck has a Yokohama livery, I don't really want to put a set of like BFGs or Swampers on it. I've always just kind of been that way. Like, I don't know, if I'm wearing, you know, Etnies, I don't want to wear a Vans shirt. I don't know why. I've always just been that way. Maybe I'm a weirdo, but I like to make things match up. So putting a set of BFGs on this doesn't sit well with me. As stupid as that may sound. So maybe we'll change up the livery, or I don't know, we'll figure something out. But I do definitely want to try out some taller tires on this guy. That's pretty much the standard size tire that I run on all my buggies. So I want to see how it goes. Oh, yep. I'm gonna get some weight transfer here. That's gonna flop. Oh, maybe not. It's rotating too much. Another thing not helping us here is not having those tires vented. If they're vented, it allows the tire to conform a lot more and let the foam do the work. Right now we're kind of just running on big air bubbles, but these RC tires are not built like real car tires with belting and, you know, having radials and all sorts of fun stuff like that. So they don't react the same. You're relying on the insert to support the tire. Now I tried this with a modified drag axle Capra not too long ago, and I really struggled to get it to do it. Eventually I did, but it took a solid, 10 minutes of effort here. So I'm really hoping we can get this thing to do it. I think a line exists for it, but it's looking like it's gonna be a real razor thin line. And not being able to creepy crawl it like I'm used to with my brushless systems. It's a little jerky with the throttle. It's not bad for an RTR. Yeah. Okay, we're just gonna drop off to take the win there. Typically I keep my tires on the left wall here. We can climb back up though. There we go. Nice. The H10 Optic got it done. So that's a really technical, fun climb. I really enjoy that, even with like my crazy comp builds and whatnot. Class 3 rigs, it's all fun to drive up that line. So an RTR getting up that is definitely a positive sign. Settle, there we go. A little weight in the wheels, maybe some knuckles if someone comes up with that in the future. I might dabble in that myself. We'll see how things go. What do you think of the truck so far, Sydney? Looks pretty good out here on the rocks, huh? She's just coming up for some pets. That's all she wants is pets. If you guys see us out on the trail, she will bark at you and demand pets. That's how she rolls. Now this truck does come equipped with S8E shocks, which I've always struggled with. They do leak on me. I pulled this thing out of the box brand new and there was oil all over the axle and the shock itself. So that was unfortunate to see. Luckily there's lots of good shock options on the market, but I have not had luck with at least 4 sets of S80s I've owned, and I think I've only owned 4. I was trying to avoid that. So this is where the things kind of get interesting. It's a longer truck, so you can reach the taller climbs, but you don't have the breakover to get up and over them. Ooh, man, it barely squeezed through there. Gave it a little save, little hand to God action. Ouch, cutting up my hand saving this damn thing. One aspect of this truck, RTR, that you need to keep in mind is these wheels are very narrow and they don't have an adjustable hub. So by the time you get a set of aftermarket wheels and you throw some Vanquish 350 hubs on it, this thing's gonna be noticeably wider. So with a wider axle plus some wider hubs to really make this stance come to life, at that point you're going to be quite a bit wider than something like a Fordyce or a stance. Lifting tire, nice, she settled in. Way to go. Another feature I covered in the review is that this is not a Lexan paneled truck. This is a hard body. This is hard plastic panels on this thing. And I've slipped off of these stacked rocks here. The stacked rocks at the bottom are actually what make this line possible. It's one of the very few things that I will stack rocks for, and because it makes this trail connect, basically. See, this is the only way up to the next section. Well, I couldn't quite get this thing to stick, so unfortunately had to hand of God it up into this point, so taking a fail on that one. That's okay. That rock stack is super critical to making that work, and I just don't care to play with it much more. It just wasn't happening. So on to the next line. This is one of my favorite parts on the trail. We get an awesome view of the truck right up at eye level, and then we get that Beautiful view of Sand Hollow in the background. Reservoir out here in the middle of the desert, little oasis. Yeah, nice. Not getting bellied out on that one. Ended up on our links there, pretty typical. And pretty typical, little throttle pulls us out. Servo and axle 4-link, hydraulic ram in the front. Hear those tires chewing on the rock. Maybe you'll get the rear out of that ledge on the bottom right. It's gonna try and rotate your front end to the right, being too far over there. Approach it a little more on an angle. Oh, it's right there. Sydney, don't nudge it. She's waiting to get up this line too, I guess. This reverse goes a little too far, man. It's very touchy. Nice little timing on the turn there. There we go. So overall, what do I think of the H10 Optic here from Vanquish? I love that they came out with the buggy. I'm very excited. I'm a huge buggy fan, and I think they did a really excellent job. Oops. The design of the chassis looks great. The proportions are excellent. The scale detail is solid. They got good looking liveries. It's a really cool design with the battery tray in the door where it's at. Whew. Little save. I'm definitely going to be having fun with this truck, no doubt. Now, I do see a few things that I would like to change on it. I would like to get a little more forward low weight, which you could do by adding the sintered clamp rings for the beadlock wheels that are included with this truck. Ooh, she just floated it through there. Just gonna slide those rockers through. Perfect. That's a hard line and this truck got it. Very impressed by that. And then, of course, we've always got to throw a reef servo in it. We're gonna get this thing some steering torque. Stock is adequate, it's fine. I've actually not had any complaints here where I feel like I just absolutely haven't had steering when I need it. It is working, but you know, why have 200 when you could have 1,000 ounce-inches of torque? We're actually on a good line with that rock. The other thing that I'm just missing is that fine low-end control, and I think I've got a little bit different plan for this. Typically I go with Hobby Wing Fusions. They just work excellent. I really enjoy them. Nice, that stacked rock saved us today. I don't know who put that there. It wasn't me, but they nailed it with that one. But I want some low-end speed control. I think I'm gonna go to a Holmes Hobby Revolver with their V3 ESC. I'm really liking that combo in some of my other trucks. It's also 4S capable, so we could throw in like a 2500, slap some 4S in this thing, get some good wheel speed and make this thing hop the rocks, right guys? So that's kind of my future plans with it. Definitely gonna get some aluminum wheels on here, probably change out the tires to something like G8 compound from Proline. It's just my personal favorite in my terrain. If you guys like these little stickers here on the back of the truck, I've got multiple designs and different colors and stuff with a few of my logos. Those sticker packs are available at westdesertwheeler.com. Check it out. But guys, that's gonna wrap it up for our first trail run with the H10 Optic. It ran our risk line, it did most of the obstacles no problem, got through some of the hardest, most technical ones, and then there's a few where I just had to help it along. That's just fine because it is an RTR. I don't expect them to run all of my hard lines right out of the box, but this one did pretty dang good, and not real surprised Vanquish puts out high performing trucks. Be sure to hit the affiliate links down below that are in the description. You can probably pick up one of these trucks and some of the modifications that I mentioned. And if you pick up anything through those links, anything you want, it does kick a few % of that sale my way, and it would help support me here on the channel. I am full-time YouTube and running my own business, so I'd greatly appreciate it. I want to thank you guys for watching my video. I'm sure that multiple videos have come out today covering the truck. I know some of the reviews can kind of get repetitive, but I do appreciate you coming to check out my video of this thing out on the rocks. I hope you enjoyed it. We will see you guys in the next one. Keep the rubber side down.